My world came crashing down unexpectedly, and it felt like a nightmare I couldn't escape from. What should have been the happiest time of my life turned into a whirlwind of pain and heartbreak, all because of one simple betrayal. I never imagined my marriage would end like this, but the truth was undeniable. My wife, Lily, cheated on me, and everything spiraled from there in ways I couldn't have prepared for. Lily and I had been married for 5 years. We had a strong relationship, or so I thought. We were both busy with our careers, me in finance and her as a marketing director for a well-known company. Our work schedules often meant we couldn't spend as much time together, but we always made an effort to show each other that we loved one another. Weekend getaways, dinners out, and little thoughtful gestures kept us connected. We communicated well, or at least I thought we did. But over time, something began to change. It was subtle at first, small things that I brushed off, convincing myself they were just a result of stress or the pressures of our busy lives. Lily started coming home later than usual. She seemed distracted when we were together, and conversations that had once flowed easily now felt forced and awkward. I thought it was just the stress taking its toll on her, but deep down, I felt a growing unease. Then one evening, after Lily came home particularly late, I found something that shattered my world. It wasn't intentional. I just grabbed her phone to text her about our dinner plans, but as soon as I picked it up, a message notification popped up. It was from someone I didn't recognize. The message simply said, "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe." The word babe hit me hard. Why was my wife calling someone else that? It was just a simple word, but it carried so much weight. I couldn't ignore it. The following days were filled with doubt and suspicion. I didn't want to believe it, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I confronted Lily, asking about the message. She brushed it off quickly, claiming it was nothing, just a friendly message from a colleague. But I could tell she wasn't being truthful. There was hesitation in her voice, and her eyes darted around when she spoke, which only fueled my suspicions. I didn't believe her, but I pushed the thought aside, hoping it was just my imagination. But then it happened again. A week later, I came home early, determined to get to the bottom of what was going on. Lily wasn't home yet, so I took the opportunity to check her phone once more. What I found was worse than I could have ever imagined. More messages, more intimacy, more lies. And then there was a photo of Lily with a man I didn't know. They were smiling, looking like they had just shared something special. That was it, the final straw. When Lily came home that evening, I was already sitting in the living room, waiting for her. The dim light cast long shadows on the walls, and the silence in the room felt suffocating. She walked in, smiling that same smile I had once loved. "Hey, babe," she greeted, casually setting her bag down. I couldn't take it anymore. "Who is he, Lily?" I asked, my voice steady but raw with emotion. Her smile faltered, and I could see the hesitation in her eyes. She opened her mouth to speak, but I cut her off. "Don't lie to me. Who is he?" I demanded, pulling up the photo from earlier. Her face went pale as she saw the image, but she quickly masked her shock with a nervous laugh. "It's nothing. Just a friend from work," she said, trying to downplay it. "You're overreacting." But I wasn't buying it. I had seen the messages. I knew the truth. "Don't lie to me," I repeated. "I know about the affair. You've been cheating on me." Lily froze. Her face drained of color, and for a long moment, we just stared at each other. The silence between us was deafening. Finally, with a shaky voice, she muttered, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen." I couldn't hold it in any more. The anger, the hurt, the betrayal, all came pouring out. "You didn't mean for it to happen? You've been sleeping with him behind my back. You lied to me every single day. Every day you looked me in the eye and lied to my face. You betrayed me." My voice cracked, but I didn't care. It was all too much. And before I even fully realized what I was saying, I added, "I want you to leave. Right now." Lily's face twisted in disbelief. "What? No. Please, I didn't mean to hurt you. I love you. Please don't do this. But it was too late. The trust between us was gone. The foundation of our relationship had been destroyed, and I couldn't look at her the same way again. The love I once felt for her had been replaced by a flood of anger, hurt, and a deep sense of betrayal that I couldn't shake. I had to stay strong, even though everything inside me felt like it was falling apart. There was no turning back now. My hands trembled with a mix of rage and pain, my mind racing. I couldn't believe it had come to this, but the truth was undeniable. The betrayal was too deep, too raw. No, Lily. You made your choice, I said, my voice firm even though every word felt like it was tearing me apart. Now, you need to go. Pack your things and leave. Her eyes welled with tears, and for a fleeting moment, I saw her falter. She opened her mouth as though to plead, but I didn't give her the chance. I'm sorry, she whispered, her voice trembling. I truly am. Please just let me stay. We can work through this. We can fix it. But her words barely registered. I couldn't look at her anymore, without hearing the lies, without feeling the betrayal. In the silence between us, the love we once shared seemed like it belonged to someone else, someone who no longer existed. No, I said more firmly this time. I'm done. You need to leave. The room fell into a thick silence, the kind that feels suffocating, like it's hard to breathe. Lily didn't move right away. She just stood there, her face a mixture of anger and sadness, her shoulders shaking. Finally, she grabbed her purse, through the tears streaming down her face. She said something that felt like a final blow. You'll regret this. You don't know what you're asking for. I watched her leave, the weight of the decision pressing down on my chest. My heart was heavy, a mix of grief and fury swirling inside me, but deep down, I knew it was the right choice. I couldn't keep living a lie, pretending everything was fine when it had all fallen apart. Still, as I stood there staring at the door she had just walked through, something felt broken beyond repair. Later that evening, as I sat in the emptiness of the apartment trying to process everything that had happened, there was a knock at the door. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened it, my breath caught in my throat. Standing in front of me was the man Lily had been having the affair with. He was tall, dressed in an expensive suit, and his entire demeanor exuded confidence, maybe even arrogance. He looked to be in his mid-30s, with sharp features and an expression that suggested he was used to getting exactly what he wanted. I froze for a moment, unsure of what to say. The anger I had felt toward Lily shifted onto him, the embodiment of the betrayal that had shattered my world. What do you want? I asked, my voice low and dangerous, the words forced out of me. I think we need to talk, he said, his tone unnervingly calm, as if he were explaining something trivial. I stepped back, not allowing him to enter. I don't think so, I said coldly. You don't get to show up here like this. But he didn't relent. He pressed forward. Listen, I know this must be hard for you to understand, but I'm not here to cause trouble. I just want to explain myself. I felt my blood begin to boil. Who did he think he was, showing up on my doorstep, trying to justify his actions? I didn't need an explanation from him. What I needed was an apology from the woman I had shared my life with. But that was the one thing she wasn't offering. He wouldn't leave. He kept going on about how Lily had always been unhappy in our marriage, how he had been there for her when she needed someone. I never intended to hurt you, he said, almost like he was trying to convince himself. It was just a fling, and it got out of hand. I felt my fist clench. His words sounded like hollow excuses. He didn't understand the damage he had done. You're wasting your time, I said, my voice ice cold. I don't want to hear it. My wife made her choices. You're just a part of that. Still, he didn't back down. He continued to explain how Lily had been confused, how she hadn't been getting the attention she needed at home, and how he had stepped in to fill that void. He said he didn't want to hurt me, but he couldn't walk away from her either. The nerve of him. He was standing there, trying to make me feel like the villain, as though I had done something wrong. My mind raced. How dare he try to justify what they had done? With one final cold glare, I slammed the door in his face. The sound of it hitting the frame echoed in the quiet apartment. I stood there for a moment, listening to the silence that followed. The anger still pulsed through me, but beneath it, a deep sadness settled in. I knew things would never be the same again. The following days were a blur. Lily kept trying to reach out to me, but I ignored her calls. She probably wanted forgiveness, but I couldn't give it. Not yet. Not until I had time to process the destruction she had caused and figure out how to rebuild the pieces of my shattered trust. The pain was unbearable at times, but I also knew I couldn't stay in this place of hurt and anger forever. I had to find a way to move on and rebuild my life without her. As for the man from the affair, I never saw him again. But through all of this, I learned something important. Betrayal isn't just about the one who cheats. It's about the damage it does to everyone involved, especially the one left to pick up the broken pieces. In the end, I knew I'd be okay. Losing someone I thought I'd never lose was painful, but in time, I would find the strength to move forward, one step at a time.